another really important point from this spiritual perspective when it comes to chastity is they did a study on basically this rampant pornography use and the addictiveness that comes from that. And there certainly is an addictive quality to the mere gratification that comes. But the real underlying thing they found almost universally for those that were sex addicts were that they had a deep insecurity, that they were extremely vulnerable to having no sense of identity of who they are, what their purpose is, where they came from. They were very insecure. And so they were using that as an outlet to feel like they were worthy or like they're doing something productive. Okay? A quick hit of dopamine and serotonin, like a drug, right? And it's really important, I think, if we really believe in the spiritual life, we really believe in heaven and hell and our Lord, that we come from the place, when we're talking about chastity and purity, that we have a deep sense of identity and security in God as our Father, and that our purpose is eternal. Because if we don't have that certainty, then we will be vulnerable. We'll have chinks in our armor for the devil to exploit. And that's what happens to a lot of people when it comes to this. And it's not just, the secular world. Father Ripperger talks about this. This is one of the most critical problems in traditional cultures as well, traditional Catholic environments as well. That this problem of chastity is universal. We're not immune to it. And so being rooted in the sense that God truly is our Father and loves us, and if we do fall, He will forgive us. That's a really difficult dichotomy there, because you don't want to be at all lax at any moment when it comes to mortal sin. If you do fall, though, it's really important you don't get discouraged, that you trust in God's forgiveness, and He's going to give you strength. You should see God as a Father that isn't there as this cushy whatever. He's there to encourage, to give courage, to get back up and fight. Because that's what this is. From the spiritual perspective, we have this sense of I am loved by God. He's given me my baptismal identity and my eternal purpose in Him. And He's giving me courage to fight. This will be a fight for your life. For the entire time you're on this earth. We are not going to be living like angels. We're trying not to live like beasts, which is what our society encourages. But also, we aren't angels. As long as we're in this world, we have a fallen nature, and we have to be real about that. And so, I think, we'll get into the practicals of prayer and all, but it's important to find two things, I think, in God from this spiritual perspective. One, intimacy, and two, a sense of mission. Intimacy, because we all have that yearning in our hearts. We need a sense of intimacy. And the one place that is an anchor, no matter what, no matter where, no matter how, no matter what's going on in our lives, God will be there for that sense of intimacy, okay, in our hearts. But also, not just, I think especially for men, they need to know it's not just, you're just good as you are, but you are challenged to do something important, great, a mission for God, whatever that looks like in your life. A sense of calling from Him to follow His will and to glorify Him with whatever your life is supposed to look like. And so I think that will really help from this spiritual perspective when it comes to trying not to fall victim to an idle life, a life where you have this void, and what's going to swoop in there sooner or later, lust often does. And so you've got to fill yourself up with that intimacy with God and that sense of purpose and mission and doing His will in your life. Constantly being filled up with that so that He is at the center, so there's not this void for the devil and the flesh to swoop in.